You're not talking, are you? Wait, are you?
Shit! I just realised you can't hear me. You can't hear what was going on.
Oh, you'll have to turn off the noise suppression if you want me to hear something. Yeah.
Yeah, because of the noise suppression. No, but it was just spooky, scary skeletons.
Oh, good. Spooky, scary skeletons. Yes.
Yeah, because it's Halloween. I hope I get this uploaded before Halloween. Otherwise, I am a failure. But yeah.
Yeah. Wait. Yeah. The Simpsons. They don't upload their Halloween stuff and all upload. Like they don't air their Halloween episode until November, like all the time. So they're lazy motherfuckers.
That's actually crazy. The Treehouse of Horror episodes, they're one of the most important things about Halloween. Like in the last 30 years, it's a cultural institution. So the fact they don't broadcast those episodes until after Halloween is frankly disgraceful. Honestly, I had no idea.
It's harrowing. They're a bunch of mother foxes.
Oh, because of Fox, yeah, who air Simpsons. Yeah, that's great. Yeah,
thank you. Hello, and welcome to Select and Reflect, the movie review podcast where we look at films that have come out in the near and distant past. We give them a couple of watches and evaluate them beyond first impressions. I'm your host, Michael, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Luke. And this week, we are celebrating the hallowed evening itself, and indeed 20 hallowed evenings, depending on the exact date this was released, since the release of the horror movie Alone in the Dark. Now that's a pretty good name for a horror movie, I would say. It's kind of got a scary vibe to it. Well, Luke, why don't you tell us a thing or two about Alone in the Dark? I should say like Alone in the Dark. There we go.
Certainly, Michael. So do you know anything about the origins of this movie?
Well, I know it's based on a video game.
Okay. Yeah.
In fact, more to the point, I decided to look up some gameplay from this video game because I was like, I wonder what this video game's actually like. Obviously, I didn't sit there and watch someone play a video game like a loser. Like no one would do that. But I did just kind of skip through to get a sense of the vibe. It was slightly different. I'll say that.
Yeah, which we will get into. But yeah, Alone in the Dark. It's interesting you say it's a good name for a horror movie because obviously it was originally a video game. Or a video game series, there's a bunch of them. But yeah, we are reviewing this for a couple of reasons. One of them is its 20-year anniversary, and the other reason is
it's a horror movie.
It's a horror movie, yes, and there's
nothing else about it.
Yeah. Now, of course, if anyone is aware of this movie or has seen it, I guess if you've seen it, you're aware of it. You'll know that this is considered, we'll see if we agree, it's considered to be one of the worst movies of all time. And it has a 1% approval on Rotten Tomatoes. So, yeah, this is the only spooky movie we're doing this year for Halloween. And we were going to do The Black Phone because of the sequel.
Yes,
which is coming out or which has come out this year. But you watched it and you said it was just fine.
I said it was good, which is terrible.
Yeah, it's the worst thing because at least when a movie is really bad, we can have some fun with it. But if a movie is just good, you're just like, yeah, that was good. Yeah, that was good. Those are the worst movies to review. So we had a choice because we had to, we only had time for one horror movie. Were we going to do The Black Phone or were we going to do Alone in the Dark, which again is considered one of the worst movies ever made, and we decided to do this movie. So yeah, let's get into it. So Alone in the Dark is a 2005 action horror film directed by Uwe Boll and written by Ilan Mastai, Michael Roche, and Peter Scherer, based on the video game series of the same name. Interesting. It stars Christian Slater, Tara Reid, and Stephen Dorff. What a great name.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like how you're very enthusiastic.
Yeah, well, so Tara Reid, though, I was thinking to myself, I feel like Tara Reid is reasonably famous. Hasn't she? I recognize her name, so she must be.
Do you not know what franchise she was in before this? Don't look it up.
I don't know. I mean, if you told me, I think. But I mean, the thing is, I don't remember. I don't know the exact franchise, but I feel like I'm right that she's famous. So before this. Yes, so obviously this is 2005, early 2000s. I really want to say, and this might sound stupid, I don't know. She wasn't in like a teenage kind of sex comedy like American Pie, was she?
Not like American Pie.
Okay.
It was American Pie.
Okay, so that's good. I actually that was what I was thinking, but I didn't want to I didn't want to overcommit.
Yeah. It was. She was in American Pie, and after that, she has been in another famous franchise, which is of course Sharknado. So yeah, there you go. I think that's right. If it's not, I'll cut it. But yeah.
So she is famous.
So it was released, Alone in the Dark, on the 28th of January 2005 in the US and Canada. A January release is always great, and yeah, especially for a horror movie. And yeah, actually, to be fair, some horror movies actually are released in January and do quite well. Like I think Mithrigan, you know that movie?
Oh yeah, Mithrigan, I do know that. Yeah.
Yeah, Mithrigan, that's it. Yeah, that was released in January, I think, the first one. And then yeah, on the 3rd of February 2005 in Germany, because this is financed by Germany, or not?
Yes, because he's German.
Yeah, not the actual country Germany, not the state of Germany. You know, a German production company. Concord Filmverleih. There you go. That's who distributed it. Bol KG Entertainment produced it, which I imagine is Uwe Boll's production company. Anyway, so yeah, it was the budget was $20 million. Shit, I should have said that.
Oh yeah, good. I still might not get it right. This is fun. Okay, let me think whether or not I would have got that. Probably not. I feel like I would have said like I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I would have got close to that. I wouldn't have gone like super high because the movie isn't that good. I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know what I would have said. That's the sad thing. That's what you've denied everyone, Luke.
Yeah. I was about to let you make a fool out of yourself, but what I've done is made a fool out of myself instead, which is never
stupid little bitch boy.
Yeah, thanks for that. But yeah, never the right move to do that. Anyway, Michael, considering that's the budget, what is the box office?
Now, I don't know. I feel like this movie was probably a flop. I don't think this would have even been like... Because sometimes you get the movies which don't do... Like, for example, I feel like the Resident Evil movies, for example, aren't super well reviewed, but they still get a good number of like people watching them. I don't feel like that would be the case with this. I honestly don't really feel like the Alone in the Dark video game is especially famous, as it happens. So I'm gonna say this movie like... I'm gonna say this movie made like 15 million. Like, it didn't even make its budget back. And that might be overstating it.
Okay, yeah, that's not a bad guess. The box office number was 12.7.
Good.
Just dollars, no, millions of dollars. So yeah, good guess, Michael. So let us get on to whether we liked Alone in the Dark. So Michael, did you like Alone in the Dark?
No. So I don't know whether or not this is like the worst movie ever, because it's kind of one of those movies where, in a way, like it's just kind of boring. Like there's nothing. Well, I'm not going to say there's nothing about it that demonstrates a particular incompetence, but it's sort of like, it's one of those movies where it's basically just a lot of what happens is very generic. It's like, oh, there's some, and I guess like the thing is, it does feel adjacent to, and interestingly, these are all like video game movies, but obviously the Resident Evil movies with, you know, like, oh, the stupid, elaborate, like conspiracy company, like that's what the whole umbrella thing was in Resident Evil movies.
Yeah,
also,
yeah.
I was thinking like Lara Croft.
Yeah, okay, yeah, Lara Croft, that's interesting. I wouldn't really agree with that because there's not a lot of archaeology in this movie. But you said that, you know, it feels generic. How do you mean generic?
I guess essentially the fact that it's like you've got a MacGuffin and you have like a secret organization that does like evil experiments, and then there's like an ancient civilization, an anarchy that feels like, you know, the Mummy. That's like another similar thing, you know, like Brendan Fraser, not Frasier. And like even the monsters are they're just like weird CGI. You can barely even like make out what they're supposed to look like creatures. Like everything about this movie to me, it just feels like they were like, we just got to put all the stuff in it that you have to have for a movie where things happen. Like it's kind of, there's nothing that stands out about this film to me, even in a bad way.
Well, yeah. Well, actually, I disagree with that. There are a couple of things that stand out in a bad way. One of them is Tara
the
Reid.
acting's really bad. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. The acting. Now I think, and actually, you know what? I was going to make a joke because obviously we reviewed Pirates XXX last week, and I was going to say last time, and I was going to say actually that was my real take that I had during this. I was like, man, you know what would really kind of improve this is if the characters started banging, and I think the reason I was thinking that obviously is because I was thinking like, at least with like it was literally like porno quality acting.
Yeah, well, that's what you get with Tara Reid. Unfortunately for her, I don't want to be harsh.
And unfortunately for us, she wasn't in Pirates XXX.
Yeah. Well, I don't think you should ever cast Tara Reid in a role where she has to wear glasses and has to look at a computer or a laptop, and has to say any word longer than 3 syllables. I think you're going wrong there. And Christian Slater as well. Yeah, it's an elite combo, those two together.
Yeah.
Oh god. But anyway, we shall now get into. Well, actually, no, we shan't, because I got to tell you what I think of it. I mean, similar to you, honestly. There are some bad moments. Well, I say bad moments. So bad it's good moments. There's a few here and there, particularly regarding the acting. But yeah, it's clear that the whole plot is they're trying to engineer it. Uwe Boll and the writers to make it as generic as possible, which we'll get into, and a lot of it is just boring. The last half an hour is just so fucking boring, honestly.
Yeah, this is one of those movies that makes you realize, because sometimes this movie is only an hour and 40 minutes, it's barely over feature length, and it's one of those movies that makes you realize that a feature length movie is still pretty long. I was going into this and I was like, that's only an hour and 40 minutes. Honestly, by the time I've started watching it will be halfway over already. And then I was just after when it was about an hour in, I was like, geez, turns out an hour is actually quite a long time when you're not enjoying yourself at all.
Yeah, an hour is a long time. Honestly, yeah, compare this to Pirates, which we reviewed last week. Pirates flew by. Yeah, and maybe that's because you said you were skipping some of the sex scenes, but it flew by compared to this. And yeah, for me it was actually a little bit longer, which we'll get to in the nitpicks. So Michael, how many nitpicks or litpicks do you have?
Just one.
Okay, well, I have I guess it is a lit pick, but you go first.
Yeah, it's just a pretty obvious one. Why doesn't the guy who's following him towards the beginning in the cab use a weapon? His instruction was to kill him, right? I'm not wrong there. It wasn't he had to capture him or anything. So if he just had a gun, boom, problem solved.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm sure. I mean, that's the thing, that nitpick is it's just so not interesting because there's so many moments
honestly, you're probably right, to be fair. I don't know why I was just for some reason I was let me write this down, even though you're right.
yeah so my I guess it is a lit pick because it is kind of funny. So I started watching this movie, okay, right, and the characters. Remember the first scene? It's a nun and this guy in a suit. I don't know what his job was. Was that the science? Was that the scientist when he was younger?
I think so. Yeah, because or an associate of him. Yeah, because that's kind of what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that. I'm just thinking that again. This isn't explained in the movie.
No.
Or Wikipedia. Honestly, Wikipedia's plot summary was really shit. They constantly fuck stuff up, and I had to rearrange a bunch of stuff when you read. Out the plot elements later. I had to do some DIY on that one. So I started watching the movie. The nun and this guy in a suit, he's probably the scientist, and they were speaking Spanish. Now I didn't think that was weird because it's the start of the movie.
Okay, yeah.
And you got a nun. Nuns are Catholic. There's a lot of Catholics in Spain or Mexico or whatever. It's a the religion of the Spanish is Catholicism. Yeah. So
did you have subtitles, by the way, just out of interest?
Yes. Okay. Yes. Subtitles were on as well, but I always have subtitles.
Oh yeah, I do too. Yeah, but I was just wondering if you did. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm watching this and they're speaking Spanish, and I'm like, okay, this is interesting. Doesn't seem to be dubbed too well. I mean, what's going on here? And then I realized I was watching the Spanish version of Alone in the Dark. And I was doing that for a good 5 minutes, and I was like, oh yeah, this probably isn't the right version, and indeed it wasn't, because I checked on Wikipedia. I was like, wait, what are the languages in this movie? And it was it's German and English. Oh no, sorry. The language is just English. The countries are Canada, Germany, and the United States in terms of who produced the movie. But yeah, the only language is English. So I was like, oh right, so yeah, I must be watching the wrong version. And yeah, it reminded me actually a similar thing happened to somebody on Twitter, which is a tweet which went viral a few days ago. I don't know if you're aware of the cartoon Smiling Friends.
Yes, I am. Yes.
All right, good. Right, so yeah, somebody just put on Twitter oh yeah, I was watching Smiling Friends the other day, and they were speaking in Spanish for like 3 minutes, and I thought, oh yeah, this is just like what they do on Smiling Friends, so I didn't think that was anything weird. But no, indeed, I did turn out I was watching the Spanish version of the episode.
Yeah.
So yeah, the same thing happened to me. But that's the thing, that on the website I used, there was no English version. It was just the Spanish version. So, I wasn't like fucking up. It was like I had to go on a different website, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Different, yeah. You had to go to the website, the other website where you legally purchased it. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like...
No. So you know what's funny? It actually was legal because this movie you can watch for free on Amazon Prime. If you have Amazon Prime, which I do. So you can watch it for free. You don't have to pay anything. So that's what I did. I just watched it on Amazon Prime. I literally did actually watch it legally.
Crime doesn't pay. Yeah, it's kind of interesting because it's almost like the opposite of another horror movie with generic monsters in it. A Quiet Place. I think you and I. Am I right that you and I both, when we watched A Quiet Place, where we watched it, didn't automatically have subtitles? And therefore, this definitely happened for me. I can't remember if it happened to you too, but yeah. And basically, therefore, I went through the entire movie thinking that the family was supposed to be speaking their own language, which we weren't supposed to be able to understand. And I was like, that was like a really creative decision of them to make it so that they were all speaking their own like made up language, and we had to interpret it visually. And then I found out actually it just has subtitles. Yeah, that'll do you. Language, you'd have it.
Yeah, I know. But language is confusing. Anyway, so let's get on to the actual movie now. So yeah, let's kick us off with a plot, Mike.
Yes, based on the video game series of the same name, when the investigations of supernatural detective Edward Carnby lead him to uncover a long-lost tribe called the Abscani, he finds out that they worshipped demons. These evil creatures are now attempting to resurface in the world, and Edward can stop them only with the help of Eileen Sedrak, an archaeologist who also happens to be his old flame. Can he and Eileen stop them before it's too late? Did I mispronounce anything there? Because I feel like I wouldn't be surprised based on how disengaged I was from the movie. I just as I was saying that, I was like, is it Sedrak?
Yeah, but who the fuck cares? It's Tara Reid. Yes. And yeah, I got this description from, or plot description from Amazon Prime.
Yes, that's why it's not in Spanish.
Yes, but it says that Tara Reid is Christian Slater's old friend. Old flame.
Yes.
When that doesn't appear to be the case, it seems like they are in a relationship. He just left for 3 months.
Yeah,
so
that's a good point. Yeah.
I don't think that's accurate given what happens in the movie. Also, yeah, how did you pronounce Abscani?
I think I did pronounce it. Wait, I think I pronounced it like that.
Yeah, you can't be offensive here. You've got to get it right because it's a made-up Native American tribe. So we don't want to offend any Native Americans by mispronouncing it. It's based off a video game, and as you say, it's just very generic. There's like a conspiracy going on. There's a mad scientist involved. And there's these supernatural demons, and there's this central figure, this character, Edward Carnby, who has to deal with it. And he's meant to have a bit of swag about him. With his leather duster. And he's meant to be like an action hero in this movie, compared to maybe in the video game where he's more of a detective. But yeah, like he's meant to be like, kind of a male Lara Croft. You mentioned that before, Lara Croft. But apart from, again, there's not a lot of archaeology in this movie. Like he, at the start of the movie, has got this piece, which I can't remember what the fuck it's called.
Yeah, it's like a key.
It's this piece of some Chilean people, on the black market, and it's like, oh, that's what he's done, but we didn't actually see that because that would be too expensive to film that, I imagine. Again, it's just very, as we've said, boring or generic if you want to be less harsh. But that is the plot, and it does play out very much like a video game, I'd say. I don't know if I because I knew it was based on a video game, so I don't know if that colored my interpretation of the movie, or what I was seeing in the movie, because basically every single scene I was like, oh yeah, it does not surprise me that this was based on a video game, because the scene, I can imagine it being in a video game. What's happening in the scene, I can imagine it being in this video game. But maybe I was just thinking that because it was based off a video game. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do understand what you're saying. Of course, I watched. So I've seen some of the video game, and therefore I can provide my informed insight into the matter. But I won't. No. So here's the thing, though, Luke. I feel like probably not, because again, I watched like a good amount of the gameplay, and the gameplay is you're in a haunted house fighting zombies, and most of the game is actually very slow paced, and you just kind of like walk into a room. Like this is what and I like skip through, and this is like the whole thing. You just like are walking around this haunted house, and you just go into a room, there's loads of zombies, you just go bang, 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 and then you go into, and like you find, to be fair, there was a lot of finding stuff. It was a lot of like, go into this room to find this thing, which is a video game mechanic. But yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know exactly what it was about it that you thought you were like, oh, this is a very video gamey thing. What specifically in it were you like, oh, this is...
No, it's just every scene. Like I can imagine. Oh yeah, this is something out of a video game. You know.
Yeah. Okay.
Basically, yeah. Like, and I'll get into it once we go into.
I will say, like again, also having watched some of the thing, that the acting in the video game is absolutely terrible. Like the acting in the video game is basically this guy who's like, I realized I had to go to this haunted house. I went there and I saw there were loads of zombies. It was a disaster. I'm gonna have to kill all the. I don't know, but it was like literally like that's how like the game starts. Like it's like, let me tell you about my backstory. I'm Detective Carnby. I've been investigating. So to be fair, like actually in terms of that aspect, I guess this movie managed to, I might even say, improve on it. So well done.
All right, okay.
But I don't think they really cared about like the artistry of video game acting in the early day, like back in the day.
So yeah, read this review from Scott Brown of Entertainment Weekly.
Scott Brown of Entertainment Weekly gave the film an F, commenting that the film was so bad it's postmodern. In the film's only positive review, Michelle Alexandria of Eclipse wrote, Alone in the Dark isn't going to set the world on fire, but it largely succeeds with what it has to work with. Just don't take it seriously, and you'll have a fun time. Okay.
That's the thing. It's an interesting review where it's like, just don't take it seriously when the movie is absolutely very serious.
Yeah.
And it takes itself very seriously. There isn't a lot of levity in this movie. In fact, that the fucking captain, what's he called, Burke? Well, I can't remember his first name, but he's like a very very like ultra serious like character. You know, like this macho guy who's like, yeah, this is my team. Fucking Carnby, you stay away. I want now to, for you, Michael, to get into the production, because I don't know if we talked about this so far, but there's a big contrast between the actual video game and the movie.
Yes.
And they changed quite a lot of. I think the biggest element they added into this movie was, the action element, which is quite different from what I can tell to the video game from my research. So yeah, if you'll read about the production, Michael, so you can see why this change took place.
Blair Erickson came up with the first draft of the script for Alone in the Dark. According to Erickson, Uwe Boll suggested through various email changes that would turn it from a thriller into an action film. Erickson stated his disgust at the treatment and spoke negatively of his working relationship with Boll on Something Awful. The original.
I imagine Something Awful is like a podcast or something. I don't know.
Yes, yeah. It's actually, I believe it's a forum. I don't know. I think it's a forum for horror movies. So,
okay, that's interesting. But yeah.
The original script took the Alone in the Dark.
Sorry, this is Erickson talking.
Yes, good context. Yes, so this is all a quote from Erickson. The original.
It's a big long quote. Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, this is. The original script took the Alone in the Dark premise and depicted it as if it were actually based on a true story of a private investigator in the northeastern United States whose missing persons cases begin to uncover a disturbing paranormal secret. It was told through the eyes of a writer following Carnby and his co-worker for a novel and depicted them as real-life blue-collar folks who never expected to find hideous beings waiting for them in the dark. We tried to stick close to the H.P. Lovecraft style and low-tech nature of the original game, always keeping the horror in the shadows so you never saw what was coming for them. Thankfully, Dr. Boll...
This is great, this bit.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if he's a doctor, but yeah. I just love how you'll see the rest of the quote. Yes, it's funny you called him Dr. Boll.
Yeah, was able to hire his loyal team of hacks to crank out something much better than our crappy story and add in all sorts of terrifying horror movie essentials like opening gateways to alternate dimensions, bimbo blonde archaeologists, sex scenes, mad scientists, slimy dog monsters, special army forces designed to battle slimy CG dog monsters, Tara Reid. That is the bimbo blonde archaeologist. Anyway. Yeah. Doubling up there. Matrix slow motion gun battles, Matrix in quotes there, and car chases. Oh yeah, and a 10-minute opening backstory scroll read aloud to the illiterate audience. The only people able to successfully miss all the negative reviews. I mean, hell, Bol knows that's where the real scares lie. Yeah, we didn't mention yet that it is crazy. You get this like just 10 minutes of like backstory, just telling you everything. It's pretty great.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's the narration, which I was going to point out in a bit, but yeah, that's great. And yeah, I like that the little quote at the end there, which was basically the audience must have been illiterate, because how else would you miss all the negative reviews?
Yeah, that is good.
And yeah, what's the point of the massive opening backstory scroll if the audience are illiterate? Yeah, very nicely done. So yeah, it sounds very different. His initial script, of course, it was set in the past, right? That's what he said.
Yes.
And this is set, of course, in the present day. In the great year, which is 2005. So yeah, I think, well, considering it's considered one of the worst movies of all time, this has to be one of the worst script rewrites of all time, given that. Yes. By the way, at the end, you missed the final bit of his quote, which was, as a result, there were 7 distinct scripts in circulation without a consensus to which one was used. Yeah, I guess that makes sense, because it was so bad. So let us now get into the differences between the video game and this movie. I think I've highlighted 5 or 6 major differences. So we can just look at each one and talk about it for a bit. So go on.
Yes, this is good, yes. And again, works for me as someone who now fully understands the video game at the back of my hand, having watched our Let's Play. First difference is genre shift. The original games are survival horror with a focus on atmosphere, puzzles, and limited combat. The movie is primarily an action horror film with frequent gunfights, action sequences, and car chases. Yes, it's very interesting, of course, because this is pretty much exactly what happened to Resident Evil. Like, it's sort of like, that's kind of the funny thing. Obviously, like I said, in the original game, you're in a haunted house fighting zombies, which is also the plot of the original Resident Evil game. And just like the Resident Evil movies, they were like, oh, and now let's take that, and instead of being like an atmospheric kind of I like that, what is it, limited action or limited combat thing, where it's more about like survival, it becomes like just shooting as many people as possible. Clearly it's like, it's not even like an original kind of bastardization, because it's basically exactly what Resident Evil did.
Yeah. I think that is a good comparison, and I was going to talk about Resident Evil later. I mean, you brought it up twice already, but yeah, I certainly think that works. And yeah, I don't know if of course, the original script which was written may have differed from this, but yeah, I don't think like doing or creating a movie which is based on like puzzles would have been that successful.
No,
because it would be very segmented, like puzzle 1, puzzle 2.
Yeah, absolutely. And the next change is Edward Carnby's character. In the original games, Edward Carnby is a private investigator with a focus on the paranormal, often depicted as a man of his time. 1920s in the first game, modern day in New Nightmare. The movie's Carnby is a government-recruited paranormal investigator who had childhood experiments performed on him, granting him superhuman senses, strength, and speed. So that's also a difference they do in Resident Evil, because of course Alice in the Resident Evil movies gets given superpowers, and she's a completely made up character that isn't in the originals. I'm just going to enjoy counting off how many. I know you're always. You've already mentioned Resident Evil. I want to talk about it later, but yeah, it's just funny how many parallels there are.
Yeah, but again, like this is a complete bastardization of. Again, I haven't seen the video game, but yeah, Edward Carnby, like, oh, he's this old school private investigator, and in this movie he's like a fucking he's meant to be like this lone wolf kind of alpha guy, he loves a good action fight, or he loves a good action scene, loves a good fight, and he's a tough guy, you don't want to mess with him. It seems like a bit of a contrast. So yeah, another very much a bastardization of his character there. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And then we've got Aline Sedrak. Now, this can't be a bastardization. Surely, this is her character in the New Nightmare video game. Aline Sedrak is an ethnologist who assists Carnby, and they are professional colleagues. In the movie, she is an archaeologist and museum curator, and beckley Edward's girlfriend. So, okay, yeah, this is like, I guess you'd say, sexist. Doesn't pass the Bechdel test.
Well, I mean, that's not the Bechdel test.
She
but
probably doesn't pass the Bechdel test in the video games either.
The movie probably, because she's like the only female character in the movie. So yeah, it definitely does not pass the Bechdel test. But yeah, again, they're professional colleagues, but no, not in this movie. No, she needs to be, again, as Erickson put it, a blonde bimbo. Yeah, and of course, she needs to be in a relationship. It would be even more cliche if indeed she was Edward Carnby's old flame, but they seem to be very much in a relationship. But yeah, he did something to piss her off, and he's like, oh, you love me really, or you want to get back with me really, and she's like, no, I don't, I hate you, I've moved on, But actually, in the end, like they save each other or whatever, and then they kiss,
they rekindle.
And, exactly, that would be even more cliche. They don't go that far, so they missed a trick there.
Yeah, unfortunately. Now the setting, particularly the New Nightmare, takes place in isolated, spooky locations like a haunted mansion, and something in brackets which I don't even care about, or a dark island. The 2005 movie largely sets the action in a large modern city, Seattle/Vancouver. This is definitely a difference because, and again, it's a, well, actually no, this is, I don't know, this isn't a Resident Evil thing. Well done, congratulations, they managed to, because Resident Evil
Stop fucking talking about fucking Resident Evil, okay? But yeah, so it's interesting, a haunted mansion. It's a very different environment to where this movie takes place in, which is just a city. It's a generic city, but it's Seattle, Vancouver, whatever. Like, just like a modern metropolis, an urban setting. It's such a, again, contrast to like a haunted mansion, which is traditionally, outside the outskirts of town, in the countryside, and because, it's not in, an urban environment, there's this extra sense of, unease, or the characters are scared because there's no one who could come and rescue them.
Yes.
Like because you're alone. You were literally alone in the dark.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. The name works very well for the original premise and doesn't work at all well for this movie.
Yeah. How can you be alone in the dark when you're in a city and there's lights everywhere?
Yes.
Does that make sense? No, it does not. So yeah.
Yes, for shame, I would say. Now the plot focus is our penultimate difference. The games' plots often revolve around Lovecraftian horror, ancient artifacts, and solving supernatural mysteries. The movie's plot heavily involves a secret government agency, Bureau 713 for the record, ancient tribes, the Abkhani, and a focus on genetic experimentation and military-style combat. Yes, that is a difference.
Yeah, again, maybe they were, I don't know, trying to copy Resident Evil as sorry to bring it up. But yeah. Yeah, no, again, it's like, oh yeah, we got to do, there's got to be a secret agency, which is, a military style agency, and we got to make sure, there's this real emphasis on sci-fi, genetic experimentation, like modern science fiction, all of that kind of shit. Yeah, it can't be, again, just in complete contrast to Lovecraftian horror, which is, again, not really, it is sci-fi in a way, but it's not really like this kind of sci-fi. Again, it's that you don't, when I think of like Lovecraftian horror, I don't think of like scientists in labs like doing experiments and like, oh, the experiment's gone wrong. I don't think of that kind of stuff. I think, again, the thing with the Abkhani, the ancient tribe thing, that could work potentially because, again, like it's ancient, it's not like modern. But yeah, you adding like government agencies called Bureau 713, just so different to the original vibe of the video game. So yeah. That was, again, what you would say is, a failure, considering, again, is it scary? Because, okay, that's the thing, this is a horror movie, like, these games are meant to be scary, or the video games, so this movie should be scary, right? But again, if you introduce this, like, combat, style, or these scenes with the combat, it's meant to excite you, it's not meant to scare you. So yeah, we can say the change of the plot, and just the vibe, that was a failure too.
Yes, absolutely. No, yeah, absolutely. I'd say, like, and also, I mean, it kind of, I feel like the expectations are slightly lower for a pure horror, because with a pure horror, you kind of just like, or it's slightly like, if a pure horror is a bit more generic, you're kind of like, oh, that's like fine. Like, we understand it says tropes. Whereas it's almost like it's more annoying with this, because there's not even like the basic level of raw emotion. They kind of sanitize it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And kind of on that note, the final difference is tone. The games maintain a suspenseful, horror-focused atmosphere. The movie has a flashier, higher energy tone with a heavy reliance on special effects and rock music and action scenes, typical of Uwe Boll's adaptations. Yes, that is a
which
difference.
is why which is why he's an absolute shit director. But yeah, again, high energy tone, special effects, rock music, not very scary.
Yeah.
Kind of schlocky, kind of very shitty, I'd say. Again, you think about like a horror movie. You don't want this because a horror action movie. That's what Wikipedia called this movie. There's an inherent clash there, isn't there?
Yes.
With the horror, which is meant to be like scary, spooky, ooh, and then you got the action, which is it's meant to grab your attention and immerse you in this, like, again, as Wikipedia says, like high energy stuff.
Yes.
And again, there's just an inherent difference there, which does not work. I'm sure maybe there's a good horror action movie that exists, but inherently, I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, yeah, those two styles do not mix well, and as we can see, we can see that with this movie, can't we?
No, yeah, absolutely. Like it's a good case study in screwing up, is what I said. That was I was thinking a very generic insult, but yeah, basically, yeah. I do agree that the tone. Yeah, and I think like that tone thing is a good way of kind of like summarizing, because obviously all of the differences that were identified by you come together to kind of make that the tonal reality.
Yes, so we are going to go through the script now, after just discussing how they made this movie a lot worse than it could have been. So yeah, we're going to get into the specifics, and I don't think we'll be here long because I haven't written a lot.
No.
Because again, it's hard. It's hard to just say every single fucking time we talk about something that happens, this is fucking shit. What the fuck were they thinking?
Yes.
Yeah. So let's start.
Yes. Michael. Okay. I'll do my best Christian Slater impression. Narration at the start is always great. Edward Carnby, a paranormal investigator, has a nightmare in which he hides from alien-like creatures as a child, then scares a 7-year-old next to him on a plane. So you mentioned you want to talk about the narration. Yeah, it's just a little thing that you have to do. This is actually like quite a good movie as like a case study in just the way like these small decisions can just help to make a movie that little bit worse. It's just like each time the decision's made, you're like, okay, yeah, great. Having a kid who can't act, but it doesn't matter. To be fair, like this is a good movie for a child actor to cut their teeth on, because they're going to feel a lot better about themselves when they're no worse as an actor than the fully grown adults. Yeah,
I'm sorry, I just found that first scene very funny.
Yeah.
He's just like, speaking to this kid who's like, you shouldn't be scared of stuff in the dark, and he's just like, no, you should be. You fucking moron. Be scared. Wet yourself at night in your bed. That's the right move, because everything's trying to kill you. Just like such a funny thing to say to a kid on a plane. But yeah, again, Christian Slater is just so funny with his fucking leather duster. He's trying to be charismatic. He's trying to be this action hero, like this tough guy, and it just he just fails a lot. He's one of the reasons why you could say this movie is so bad it's good. One of the reasons why it's watchable, because of his acting. Again, he doesn't give a generic performance, I'd say, because it's just quite bad. So I'll give him props for that.
Yeah, he elevates the movie beyond mediocrity by making it terrible, which is
that's a great way to put it.
Delevates? That's what he does. He delevates. Yes. Right.
You're trying to say like he de-elevates.
Yeah, that feels like there should be a word for that, but I don't know anyway. After his flight, a strange man follows Carnby. They have an epic taxi car chase, and the man attacks Carnby with supernatural strength, but the man dies after many escape attempts by Carnby. The whole thing is a bit boring.
Why are you stumbling?
The main reason I'm stumbling is because I know what you're going to say, and I don't want to see what you want to say, Luke, which is...
Wait, how do you know what I'm going to say?
You're going to say, what the fuck is this man?
What? Oh,
yeah, sometimes you copy in your notes.
Oh, right, yeah. No, I tell you why I did that, because I sent you two bits at once, and I was like, oh shit, I'll delete the second bit, but I didn't delete my comment, which is just, I was just watching this fucking scene where this bald guy's attacking him. I put, what the fuck is this, man? Because, again, what's crazy about it is, what is this movie called, Michael?
Alone in the Dark.
Okay, and this is the first, scene in the movie. Well, sorry, it's the first
action set piece.
Again, set piece, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, the first set piece in the movie. And what time of day is it?
It is very bright daylight, maybe the absolute middle of the day.
It could not be brighter. So if I wasn't a fucking retard like Yui Bowl, what what I would do is, because it's called Alone in the Dark, I would have this guy, Christian Slater. His flight lands, at night. He gets in at night.
Yes.
And he's taking this taxi at night. And someone's following him at night, and he has this action scene, where he fights this fucking guy.
When would this action scene be?
Yeah, obviously it would also be at night, Yeah. Well, yeah, there's not going to be like a 12-hour shift between when he arrives at the airport, and gets the taxi.
I think that would be a good idea. Yeah, I felt like too much this movie.
Yeah.
I felt like this movie needs some light, personally.
And again, where does the fight scene take place?
Haunted house. Oh, sorry. You mean? Oh, yeah. It takes place in a crowded marketplace where
so
because you're never more alone than when you're with other people.
Exactly. It takes place in a crowded marketplace. Again, like you are not alone in a crowded marketplace because there's a crowd. It would be much better if this fight scene again took place at night in somewhere abandoned. Okay, because again, that would be in keeping with the aesthetic that you want to achieve. And it's just better anyway. But especially considering the movie is called Alone in the Dark.
Yes.
Like it's a maybe there's some rain as well. It's a dark, rainy night. And you're chased by this weird guy into an abandoned warehouse or whatever. No, it's the middle of the fucking day, and you get chased into a crowded market stall. Because I'm watching this, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, how is this? Like, this is just in terms of an aesthetic, it is so completely far away from the aesthetic you want to create when making a horror movie. You can still have the action stuff, but you got to make it horror-esque, and this movie completely fails at doing that with this scene. So that's why I just put, what the fuck is this, man? Because it's just so awful, and the fight scene isn't that good either. It's all just so fucking shit.
Yeah. Like, it's just and it's one of those things. Like, also, it's less entertaining when superhuman people fight each other, because you're kind of like, okay, I don't really have any sense of like the actual abilities of these people, or like you don't really feel like, oh, he's about to win, because you don't know everybody's about to win because they have like superhuman abilities. So that's not great. I will say the taxi driver's kind of fun though, isn't he? The way he's kind of like a stoner. He's like, oh man, I'll try and lose them for you. Like, that's a ride or die taxi guy.
Yeah. Shout out to the taxi guy. But
yes.
Yeah, no, he was white as well. He should have been black, because of the dark. No.
Yeah.
No. Sorry, that was a poor joke. Yeah.
Leave. Carnby flies to an urban museum where his girlfriend, Aline Sedrak, is an assistant curator. Carnby holds an artifact puzzle piece of the Abkhani, an extinct Native American tribe.
Yeah. So no, I was just gonna say, like, I was waiting for the schlock, and seeing, Tara Reid working again in a museum. Again, like, awful casting, horrendous casting, but her with her glasses, typing stuff on a laptop, doing like a scientific adjacent stuff. That is exquisite schlock. So at least I enjoyed that. I enjoyed every scene she was in as well, just because of how ridiculous God, her line deliveries are so bad. Like, she's such a bad actor. Combined with the fact that she should not be in this role, it's just it is really good schlock. So shout out to Yui Bowl for that, at least.
Yeah. Like, that was a really good decision, and I do respect it. Yes. Is there a particular reason why we're specifying urban museum? Is this just to illustrate the distinction of the setting, or is that is that just from Wikipedia?
That is from Wikipedia.
Yeah, I wonder why. Yes, I will say one thing about the Abkhani that annoys me is that there is, and I was like, I had this in my head, and I finally worked out what it is. Have you ever heard of the Anunnaki?
No.
Okay, so basically, it does, like, literally the only thing that matters is they were like these Babylonian deities, and like every single conspiracy theorist, like, I'm talking like the real conspiracy theorists, like the flat Earth, white people were invented by Jacob. Things like, basically, like the people who believe like the crazy like cosmological conspiracy theories, every single one of them, like they always talk about like the Anunnaki, like the Anunnaki are in control of the world, like these Babylonian deities, blah blah blah. And I was like, it's very strange to me that they decided to like have a very similar name to describe this similar like group of like these ancient spiritual people. And I'm glad that I finally worked that out. So, phew.
Okay, yeah. Good for you, Michael. Good for you. All right, let's move on.
Simultaneously, a ship recovers a gold coffin from the ocean. After docking, the captain locks up the curator of the museum, Professor Hudgens, while his crew opens the coffin. Hudgens escapes to find everyone killed by a mysterious creature and the coffin empty. Hudgens finds a secret compartment, collects an artifact from the coffin, and goes ashore. So what's really funny about this is obviously they lock him away and open it because the thing is they don't actually need to open it, right? Because their thing is they're like, oh, this coffin is gold. By the way, I love that line, like, we don't realize why it is gold's valuable. And the reason it's valuable is because it can like contain magic rather than just because like it's pretty and quite rare. Like, anyway, the thing is basically they didn't have to open it, and like obviously they all ended up dying. But the funny thing is that Professor Hudgens, he didn't even want the gold coffin in the first place. He just wanted the thing. So this is a lesson in communication.
Yeah, well, it's so... Okay, so this whole fucking scene, it's so poorly shot. Well, the first scene when it establishes, this professor on the boat, like, it just cuts to them on the boat. Like, there's no establishing shot of a boat or whatever, or introductory shot. So I'm like, what the fuck is this? What's happening here? Again. And then throughout this whole, like, segment, there's just, like, a lot of rapid cuts to different characters. It's just awful, honestly. Really bad directing, just regardless of what's actually happening. And, yeah, like, so Hudgens, what's he called? Hudgens.
Yeah.
He calls this coffin, like, an what is it? Maybe that's it. Abascar. Maybe, let's just go with that, because that sounds like it could be the case. Because it's a bad movie. There's, like, multiple MacGuffins, and this is one, like, the Abascar. It's like, why is this important? Why was he looking for it? What relevance does it have? I don't know. I have no idea, because the movie doesn't bother to explain it. Because what I imagined is, this is something that happened in the video game. This is what Professor Hudgens was doing. He was looking for this Abascar. Because that's the thing in the video games. You can have these multiple different like plot elements or MacGuffins going on at the same time, because it's not just like a 90-minute film with a ton of action scenes. You can really delve into the detail. But it's the whole thing with this guy is very annoying, because again he's just a very obvious cliche. He's a scientist who wants to do evil stuff. He wants to control stuff.
Yes,
he's got a bit of hubris about him, which is the case with all scientists.
Yeah, he's very generic and evil, and there's no real substance to him, I think is fair to say. And that's obviously disappointing. Several people across the western US and Canada walk off into the night after hearing an ear-splitting screech, and Carnby passes
just like weapons.
Yes.
Weapons stole the idea.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this what's it called? Alone in the dark, walk so that weapons could run. And
literally the kid's running weapons.
Yeah, and Carnby passes out while studying his artifact. Bureau 713, where Carnby used to work, becomes aware of evidence of electromagnetic waves by a surveillance team. Carnby thinks it is related to the Abkhani because everyone who disappeared was from the same location. Yeah, I mean, like, it's worth being suspicious if loads of people from the same location all disappear suddenly.
Yeah, but in my notes I put, at this point, I have so little clue, like, what the fuck is happening, because there are so many characters introduced and so many plot tangents. Like, Carnby's friend's wife is calling him, and we haven't established this character before, so it's like, who the fuck is she? And then all these people are missing, and it's like, okay, so we already have, like, the Hudgens letting that monster get away. We already have fucking Carnby getting attacked by that bald guy, and we have the whole like Abkhani thing going on as well. And then we have these people as well who just walk out of their houses. There's just too much stuff going on, Michael. Like there's like eight characters and like 4 plot tangents already.
No, yeah.
I'm just like, what is happening? And okay, maybe that's not that much, but I don't know how everything is connected to everything. It's just like a series of like random scenes, kind of barely stitched together. Is my issue.
No, yeah, I think that is a valid issue to have, Luke. I hear what you're saying, and
thank you.
I agree. Like basically, there isn't really a like, I guess. In a way, it's kind of funny because the movie has like this whole narration at the beginning, but there's not really a sense of like actually understanding the wider meta narrative here. You're not like there's no sense like, oh man, like this is going down and we know what the implications of this are because of like this stuff that's been set up. It's kind of just like, yeah, everything's happening and it doesn't really mean anything because it's all just connected by a generic, oh, evil stuff is going to happen. So it's like, yeah, okay, yeah, I guess that's kind of thing an evil person would do. Control people, make them do evil things. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it's the whole and Carnby also. He seems pretty fucking clueless. I don't know. Like he says like, I'm so close to finding the answers. It's like, why? Why are you so close to finding the answers? Why? What has happened that makes me think that's true? No, it's just that's what's going to happen in this movie. But yeah, whatever. Continue. Yeah.
Yes. Carnby arrives that evening at the museum with the artifact, and Cedric shows him another recently arrived Abkhani artifact that she has been studying since Hodgson's absence. Yep, got some more plot, more entertainment.
Some more MacGuffins. But yeah, this is why I'm like, oh, this is a video game shit. Like, you visit this other scientist who's like, I've got this. And, it's like, I wonder what this is, it's like, this piece, how does this piece of the puzzle relate to this piece of the puzzle? Because that's the thing with video games. Often they are kind of puzzles, aren't they?
Yes.
So, of course, you'd literally have pieces of the puzzle. And you're meant to, go, how does this all fit together? Which, again, I think works better, that concept works better in a video game compared to a movie. Obviously, because puzzles are a game, so you're playing a video game. Makes sense, right? But yeah, fucking Tara Reid asks, or she says something incredibly stupid. So she says, well, so one puzzle piece of this Abkhani artifact, one was hidden in Alaska, another was hidden in Chile. I can't remember where the others were hidden, but she says at that time those seemed like the ends of the earth. Why were these puzzle pieces, spread so far across the Americas as it was? Do you remember she asked that question?
Yes.
Yeah. So why do you think, Michael, maybe the Abkhani would put, or whoever would put all these puzzle pieces so far away from each other? Why?
To keep them separate because it's bad if they're together.
Yes. Good. Well done. Keep them separate. That's the thing. Like, throughout, because there's only a few scenes with Christian Slater and Tara Reid trying to figure out what artifacts mean when they're put together, and like what the coordinates are. There's only a few scenes, but again, like, never did they think, maybe, like, okay, so we found out where these artifacts point to, the constellations or whatever the fuck. They find that out. It's like, never did they once consider, hey, maybe, like, we should not be doing this at all because maybe it's very dangerous. Maybe that's the whole fucking problem.
Yeah. Like, especially because they know they're working, like, paranormal stuff. Like, it's not even as if they can be, like, like, because you can kind of get, like, Indiana Jones, like, especially, like, in the first movie, whatever. Like, he just thinks that this is all nonsense. Doesn't really take it very seriously. So it makes sense that he'd be confused by it. But basically willing to go along with it.
Well, yeah, Indiana Jones, to make that comparison, he is kind of a rogue archaeologist. He doesn't really play by the rules, does he, that much?
No.
But these two seem to, they don't seem to. Well, I guess you could say Christian Slater, he doesn't play by the rules, but he's not the same regarding Indiana Jones. He doesn't have anything morally questionable about him. He's by the book morally.
Yes.
So again, if you weren't a fucking retard, you'd look at this and be like, maybe we shouldn't put these pieces together. Maybe we shouldn't find out, if what gates this artifact opens. Maybe we shouldn't do that because somebody, obviously thousands of years ago, very much did not want this to be the case. And, we're working in this paranormal area. We believe all this shit as well, like you said. It's not a question of, let's find out because that'll be interesting because, maybe that's something that Indiana Jones would do because it's like, it's exciting, No, they don't. Again, the characters don't give off that vibe, so... Again, it's just very stupid. Also, yeah, why did fucking Christian Slater not call Tara Reid for 3 months?
That's a really good question. Maybe because she's a bimbo.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
It's like, no, you can't be dealing with this bird.
Sorry.
The mysterious creature from the ship attacks them inside the museum, killing a security guard. Carnby and Cedric hide until troopers from Bureau 713 arrive, and the creature retreats. Yeah, I do. I think we love the security guard. He's kind of like the comedic relief, which is important.
Yeah.
This movie's otherwise very serious.
Yeah, so I did not know that the creature from the ship was the creature inside the museum until I read it on Wikipedia. I was just okay.
I mean, I guess I inferred it was the same type of creature. I didn't know it was the exact same creature.
Yeah, but again, it's like, just what the fuck is going on, Like, just it's just, again, the movie does not really care to explain this, and yeah, it's kind of a cool death scene though. I will give Uwe Boll credit. This is the one actual good moment in the movie, which sticks out in my mind. So that's actually good in a good way when the security guard dies.
Yeah, we loved it. I endorsed it personally, wholeheartedly, because and also like he's kind of bold and fat, which means it's like not a problem that he died. Like that's okay.
Yeah. It's funny.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like that is like literally how it works. Like that's also kind of like another like bad horror movie trope is like you can tell right away that this character is expendable. Like there's no surprises here. Carnby attempts to relay information to their team leader, Commander Burke, but Burke, who's a real Burke, tells him to stay out of it in some very engaging dialogue, which isn't at all contrived or cliche. Carnby asks his former co-workers, including Staff Surgeon Sam Fisher, about the creature. Yeah, so obviously he steals Burke's pass, and this is like a classic thing where someone like wants something from someone, so they kind of like square up to them, but then it turns out actually they're pickpocketing them. So we love our generic moments, don't we?
Yes, we do. Indeed, we do. Yeah. Again, this is one of the moments where I say it's so video game-esque, because this is like so video game-esque, where the main character goes to see the staff surgeon Sam Fisher, who and they investigate what's going on with this creature, what's going on with this thing in your spine, again that seems to me to be again very very much from a video game. But yeah, like I like how nobody really cares about what attacked them. Nobody cares what type of creature attacked them. Nobody's interested in that. Just Bureau 713, whatever the fuck it's called, shows up and it's like, yeah, we'll handle this. It's like, you don't really care that there's this massive like 10-foot monster with a fucking scorpion like thing running around. Nobody's going to talk about that. It's just like, oh, I'm in charge. No, I'm in charge. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Okay, right, whatever. Sorry.
No, yeah, you're right. Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. Like the fact, like, and that's also a very generic, like a stupid cliche horror movie thing where characters are like super wrapped up in their interpersonal beef, even when they're in like a life or death situation, or like they should be being professional. Hutchins returns to the museum with a captured creature. Hutchins uses a syringe to draw fluid from the creature to study it as part of his research in combining the DNA of man and beast. Yeah, so this was like peak zoned out for me. I think like this moment, like as I'm reading it, I'm like vaguely aware of like, oh yeah, he was like in a lab and he had a syringe, and I was probably like thinking about something way more entertaining.
It's just so fucking generic, cliche, boring. Whatever the fuck, like the mad scientist, he's injecting himself, and he's trying to create, a fusion between man and beast, it's just like Spider-Man does this fucking twice, doesn't it? With like the lizard scientist,
yes,
without an arm. What's he called?
Oh God, Edward. Isn't he Dr. Connor? Connors, yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's Connors, yeah. And then there's Osborn as well. The Green Goblin.
Yes.
Another scientist who injects himself. It's
also that guy in the Abomination in the Edward Norton Incredible Hulk movie.
Oh yeah, Abomination. Yeah, Abomination. Yeah. Oh god. But that's the thing. He just like it's just so fucking stupid and schlocky. I actually like this because he just takes a big syringe and injects it into the creature, and then like draws again some fluid. And it's like, what the fuck is this fluid? Who knows? And then he just like straight up injects it into himself. It's like there's no like scientific shit going on. It's just a syringe in one fucking beast into his arm. Like there's no chemicals or like test tubes going on. No, yeah. So I like how schlocky that is. So yeah,
it's very simple.
Yeah, it's extremely simple.
Just blood transfusion. That'll do it. I guess
that works. Yes.
Right. Yeah. At the museum, several creatures attack Carnby and Tara Reid. The creatures, who are revealed to be people who disappeared earlier, are killed in an epic scene with an amazing soundtrack in the background. Yeah, it's kind of funny to me that like you basically have just like they don't have like a variety to locations. You basically just got the exact same type of action scene in the exact same location. It's just the second time there's more of them. Like they really didn't feel like changing things at all.
Yeah, the soundtrack album is 2 hours and 31 minutes long, by the way. And it features 2 discs, 17 on the first disc, 19 on the second.
Wow, that's interesting. Yeah. That's longer than the movie by a significant margin. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say about this scene? Like, I mean, it's, again, I mentioned that word again, schlock. Now, I put in my notes, now this is schlock. Now this is schlock.
Now this is what I want. Schlock racing.
Yeah, exactly. This is what I want to see out of my bad movie. No, you're not confusing plot tangents and 67 characters. This is what I want to see. Like Tara Reid, shooting some fucking CGI dog monsters with some. I think it's heavy metal in the background, right?
Yeah, like
yeah. But that is peak schlock. So again, this is one of the few so bad it's good moments in the movie. So I appreciate that. But yeah, do you understand, by the way, what's happening with these people, Michael?
Well, like they just seem to be like in my head. I'm just like they're kind of like demon possessed. Well, there's like a caterpillar worm thing that's stuck to them.
Yeah.
Does that like turn them into the monsters after time? Is it kind of like the ring wraiths where they slowly get corrupted until they stop being humans?
No, see, I was like, I'm not really understanding what's going on earlier on. You don't understand because remember, it was the Abkhani scream which set them off.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and so now all of them are under the, well, not the Abkhani scream, but just the fucking scream of that demon monster. And yeah, these and so they're under the will, of they're being controlled by this demon monster. And these are all the kids, by the way, who were at the orphanage that Carnby was at.
Yes.
Yes. And of course, he isn't possessed by these demons because even though he does have, one of these spine things in his body.
He got electrocuted on the back.
Yes, because of the electroshock he had as a child, it doesn't work. So there you go. That's what's happening. And I don't know why all of these people who are why they're attacking this. Or maybe they're attacking this. Maybe they're just after the artifact because it can open the gate. That's what they're after. They're after the MacGuffin.
Yeah.
That's why they're attacking the museum. But yeah, that kind of makes sense. But yeah, so did you get everything now, Michael?
I think it all makes sense. Thank you. This is very valuable information for me to carry with me into the rest of my life. Carnby I don't like either of their names. I really don't like Cedric. Like it sounds like Cedric, but that's how it's anyway. Carnby discovers that the Abkhani had fought the creatures, which can be killed by light. The Abkhani artifacts found all over the world open the gate to another dimension where millions of creatures sleep waiting to be freed. Carnby, Cedric, Burke go to a gold mine near Carnby's orphanage where there are strong electromagnetic disruptions. They're attacked by dozens of the creatures. Only Carnby, Cedric, and Burke survive. Yeah, and this is another thing, right? You have all of these soldiers with like weapons and stuff, and every single one of them survives. That's another example of like lazy filmmaking. Only the like the main characters survive, and everyone else is just totally dispensable.
Yeah. So is the scene scary? Because that's the thing we we often ask when we review horror movies. Hey, is this scary? Because at the end of the day, if you watch various genres, there's not a central question which you can ask, which if you answer yes, that means the movie is good. If you answer no, that means the movie is bad. But with horror movies, with horror movies, they are unique in that you can figure out whether a horror movie is good or not by just asking the question, hey, is it scary? Because that's kind of the point of horror movies. So is it scary? As I said before, there is an inherent contrast between the action and the action element, and of course the horror element. And so yeah, it's just a bunch of action going on, and it's just like it's not scary. It's just shit, schlocky shit. So yeah, I was thinking watching this, it's like, oh yeah, this is like the climax to the movie, and it just is so uninteresting.
They reach the underground surgery room where the baby creature was transplanted into Carnby. There, Hutchins takes Carnby's artifact and opens the gate. Millions of creatures awaken and run towards the gate. Man, Luke, I'm getting so tired. I don't... So, yeah, basically they... These creatures, they're not even like much of a threat. Or it's like, they're like a threat or they're not, depending on what the script wants. Either they just like mow down a load of soldiers like they're nothing, or they just kind of like are hanging out. There's millions of them, but they're just kind of like chilling and just like, like they're far enough away. You don't really need to worry about them.
Yeah, it's so dumb. But well, I say it's dumb because of course, again, like if you're fucking Carnby, you have this artifact. It's like this artifact which nobody wanted me to recreate. Okay, I have recreated it. Right. Oh, it's pointing to this location. Huh. Okay, so we have gone to this location, and so you've basically handed this mad scientist the key, because that's what this artifact is. You've handed him this key to open this gate, which is gonna destroy humanity because all the creatures are gonna rush through. Just you had control of this artifact the entire time. There was no reason to bring it to this gate once you knew what this gate was. There's just don't fucking bring it. Just it's the one thing you should not do, and you did it. So yeah, honestly, it's very dull.
I was saying that. Like I felt like they could just avoided it by not showing up.
Yeah, exactly. Don't show. You don't need to show up. And maybe, and if you want to show up to, investigate because he's like, I want to find out what happened to me when I was a kid, okay, fine. Just don't bring this fucking artifact. Maybe that could have been interesting, like the contrast between, doing the right thing and it's like, no, I want to find out what happened to me. I want to know the truth, but maybe if I do bring this artifact to this place, I'm risking humanity, or I'm risking all these creatures getting through, if that conflict was brought up, but of course it isn't at all.
No.
But yeah, it also, this is okay. So this at the end of the movie, it kind of did remind me of a lot of the video games where the main characters enter a lab where, quote unquote, it all began. Like when the main character was a kid, it all began here in this lab, and there was a mad scientist, and it started here and it's gonna end here.
Yes, that feels very generic. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I typed that into to ChatGPT. It's like, hey, can you find me like other video games where the main character finds a lab at the end of a video game where some scientific experiment went wrong or went right, but with bad consequences? And it gave me a bunch. So there's Half-Life. So the protagonist, Gordon Freeman, is a scientist, and a scientific experiment goes wrong, tearing a hole between dimensions and starting the alien invasion that drives the entire game's plot. And the facility itself is the central location and the site of the failed experiment. And then you have the Resident Evil series.
Yes.
Yes, and the main conflict is almost always traced back to the scientific hub of the Umbrella Corporation. And in the first game, the main character's journey ends in the underground laboratory beneath the Spencer Mansion. Again, beneath a mansion, in a lab beneath a mansion. That's textbook like video game stuff, where the initial T-virus experiments and the creation of the bioweapons are revealed. Again, kind of similar to this in some ways, right? Yeah, because the kids are bioweapons if you think about it in this movie. Yes, the Dead Space series. So yeah, you got the Church of Unitology. The final areas often include research or medical facilities. BioShock. The whole city of Rapture is a failed social scientific experiment. The plot's true scientific horror is centered around the discovery of Adam and plasmids and the genetic experimentation. The main character often finds the research areas where these experiments were conducted. Again, maybe not at the end of a video game, but certainly, it's kind of similar. And yeah, there's other video games which ChatGPT brought up, like Soma, Prey, Metroid series, especially Fusion, and Singularity. So there you go. Yeah, it's all about what's gone on in this scientific lab. An experiment gone wrong, and the player has to find out what's happened. And you got like the impact event in Soma. That's what it's called. And then you got the X parasite in the Metroid series. And then in Prey in 2017, the entire setting is a space station, Talos 1, which is a massive research and development facility. And the alien invasion is a direct result of the scientists' hubris. There you go. So, which is, again, so basically this whole thing of scientific experiment gone wrong. And it's that right there is so fucking generic. And honestly, this came out in 2005. Like half of these video games came out after 2005 as well. So yeah.
So they stole it from this, yeah.
And also the line from Christian Slater where he says to the to Hudgens, "Don't be insane."
Yes,
I like that. Shout out, great line. Yeah.
Burke kills Hudgens. The group places a bomb and runs away, only to realize that they cannot detonate it remotely. Burke returns and sacrifices himself. Carnby and Cedric rise to the surface at dawn, but find the city evacuated. As they walk down the street, something runs towards them. Yes.
Yeah.
So everyone dies, which is good.
Can't wait for the sequel. Can't wait. And there is a sequel to this, by the way.
Is there?
Yeah.
Directed by the same
Alone
guy?
in the Dark 2, which came out in 2008.
Wow.
I'm not sure if it's directed by Uwe Boll. I'll have to check. But yeah, you got some epic music at the end. Great. Love it. But yeah, just again, a very, very boring ending. It's all shit. Anyway, conclude, Michael.
Yes, this movie is bad, it's boring, but the thing is, it's not like offensively bad. That's like the kind of crazy thing. Like as much as you can like just say, ugh, you can't really be like, oh, I hate it because it's so terrible. As such, I guess I'm gonna give it like a middling 2, because like in a way it's really generic, which is super lame, and the acting's really bad, but I don't know. Maybe fuck it, low 2. Let's just say low 2. I think that's whatever. It's bad.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to give it a 2 out of 10 as well, because yeah, you're right. It's not offensively bad, so it can't be lower than a 2. That's kind of my rule.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few so bad it's good moments, but overall it's just really bad. It is one of the worst movies ever made. I can believe that. By the way, Alone in the Dark 2 came out in 2008. Like I said, Uwe Boll did not direct it, but one of the people who wrote the first movie, Peter Shearer, returned, and it stars Rick Yoon as Edward Carnby. It's an entirely new cast and story to the first Alone in the Dark. I hope everyone had a great Halloween, a great Spooktober. What are we reviewing next time?
Next time, we are reviewing the classic... Oh, fuck. I know where it is. It is here. Yes. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
Yes. So, yes. An even worse movie. So join us for that. Who have you been, Michael?
I've been Michael.
I've been Luke. Thanks for listening, and goodbye, and have a spooktacular Halloween.
Goodbye.